Welcome to Row J, TJC's monthly talk show about everything theater in the Jewish world. I'm your host, Meredith Gansman. We have a great show for you. Here's what's coming up. Broadway musical revival On the Town and Pulitzer Prize-winning play Disgraced are now open, and I was on the opening night red carpets to talk to all the stars. On the Town may boast that New York is a hell of a town, but opening night, well, that's a hell of a different story.
Opening night is a hell of a blessing.
Opening night is a hell of a good time.
It's a hell of a joy.
It's a hell of a party.
Exhaustion.
It's hell amazing.
The 1943 musical, created by Leonard Bernstein, Betty Comden, Adolph Green, and Jerome Robbins, tells the story of three sailors on leave for 24 hours in New York City. Time, stage, and screen star Joanna Gleason says she would put to good use.
We would go sit on a bench and look out at the Brooklyn Bridge, and then we'd go get ice cream, and then
Pizza.
And then pizza.
And for this very special evening, the stars came out to welcome the revival back to Broadway.
Three sailors in New York sounds like a good night.
Yeah. And rarely are you able to hear this score done on this scale.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
a big
exciting.
orchestra here. Big.
Kristin Chenoweth was just happy to connect with her own potential Jewish roots.
I was engaged to two Jewish men, my best friend. I'm half Jewish, I think. I believe I am.
Amanda Green, the late Adolph Green's daughter, who recently appeared on Row J, says the revival keeps her father's work alive.
Knowing how thrilled our dad would be, and he is so pissed he's not here. I can feel it.
And after the cast took their bows, the praise continued for the musical creators at the opening night party.
I can't believe how incredibly witty and hip and sexy and new this show feels.
They come from that old school musical world where they tell a good story and they tell it brilliantly.
I wasn't born yet when they made this, and I think, wow, I'm here and I get to present it for this new audience, and that's incredible.
And over at the opening night of Disgraced, a former classic television pair reunited for a not-so-disgraceful new play.
Well, it's a very provocative, heavy night of theater here on Broadway.
When you see what's happening in the world now, it's almost as if what we call divine choreography. It's as though this has been placed in the world at this time on a Broadway opening on the Broadway stage so that many more people will get to see it.
Disgraced is written by Ayad Akhtar, and fellow playwright Lynn Nottage was eager to see her colleagues' work.
I'm excited that, we have a writer of color who's on Broadway and who's written a play that's provocative and political and that's a little bit edgy. And so I think it's a very different fare from what we usually get.
In Disgraced, you're invited to the dinner party from, well, conversations about race, politics, and religion are laid out on the table. But the play is about much more than talk.
It's about identity, and that's a very amorphous, shifting thing that goes on with each of us.
This multi-layered play elicits multi-layered responses from audience members, says star Gretchen Mol.
People have a reaction, and then they kind of an hour later have a different reaction. And that's what's beautiful about it. It feels really relevant.
What the play's asking is what's next? Where do we go from here?
That is by design, according to the show's creators and cast.
I don't want to give the audience an answer, because I don't have an answer. But if I can give them a passion for asking the question, then they can ask questions that feel right to them in their own words, in their own ways.
Disgraced is now playing at the Lyceum Theater, and don't miss On the Town, now at the Lyric.